Okay, so I think it was last week. We were talking about why I got rid of the cleric profession, and there's a really good reason for it. It just it didn't. It was too broad. Like cleric doesn't really get into. It doesn't mean anything when in Mythos. It works great for AD&D because you have classes, and classes are very broad in scope. But Mythos has professions, and they're very, very narrow in scope, and they define a very specific role. And so cleric was just too broad because a cleric could be a deacon, a cleric could be a prophet, a cleric could be a friar, a cleric could be really almost a paladin could be a cleric in the sense that they're part of the clergy. So I just felt like it wasn't defined enough. But I needed something to fill that guy who's wearing heavy armor and he's in the middle of the fight. And I wanted something that was really cool. And I wasn't sure what it was at first. And then when I thought about it, I was like, this is it. This is the profession, and it's a real profession. It exists in our world, and these guys are just amazing to me. And when I thought about it and I realized what the cleric in fantasy has always been and what it is, it was just so obvious. So today I'd like to introduce you to the Chaplain class, and the Chaplain is all about being that like cornerstone of an adventuring party. They're embedded. They're on the front lines. They're accustomed to warfare. These guys go out with soldiers on a regular basis, and they put their lives on the line. And so I wanted to create the chaplain class. Once I realized what a traditional cleric class represents, I'm like, well, of course it's the chaplain. I mean, these are the guys who go out and they fight with the soldiers. It makes sense for them to be wearing heavy plate mail armor. It makes sense for them to be carrying a sturdy shield and ready to take a hit if they need to for their friends. It makes sense for them to have the heavy maces and stuff because they're going to be in the middle of the heavy fighting. These are not the healers that stand back 20 or 30 feet from the fight and just, like provide range support. These are the guys that are right there beside you. When the chips are down, they've got your back and they're directly there. And I really want to make this an exciting class because the chaplain the chaplain is just right in the mix of things, and it's so exciting to have that class. They'll obviously have access to skills that for holy magic and blessings and the typical cleric sort of things. But they'll also have like skills where they provide morale bonuses, and they're kind of a linchpin for the group. They I don't know. We'll see. They may not have like traditional turn undead ability. Maybe they do. I'm still thinking that through, but I've got to make sure it makes sense, and maybe it does. We'll see. But they're definitely going to be like the guy that kind of provides this central point of support in a group that everybody can kind of depend on. They've got an aura that radiates blessing on group members within a certain distance, and they'll give a lot of cool benefits, especially at higher levels. But it may not be exactly the cleric class that everybody's used to, but that's kind of because the cleric class it just overarches so many different professions in Mythos, and in Mythos we're going to get a little bit more specific, because we're trying to define specific cultures that exist in this world, and it's a big world. So we kind of need very, very specific professions to make everything tell the story that we want to tell. Anyway, excited to bring you the chaplain profession. It's going to be great, and I hope you guys are excited about it. Have a good day. Bye bye.